to get some of the other factional leaders to return to Liberia. I was not able to get one or two of the political leaders to return, and I think they helped to provoke the situation. I was able to do a whole lot. Strangely, the LPC, these were all warring factions. All of the other warring factions, I was able to bring them into government. In fact, most of the combatants that fought for the government during the war were the combatants of the warring factions that fought against me. So I accomplished bringing them together. I accomplished making sure that the issue of tribalism went away in Liberia. But I mean, to a great extent, I think most Liberians now, if you went to Liberia and took a poll, they would say Mr. Taylor did his best.
Any other regrets?
The second regret is that I was never able to get the United States to understand me. I was never able to get them to work with me, which is so essential for Liberia. No president of Liberia, no president can make it successfully unless he is online with Washington. Now, I'm not the type of guy that you can pick up a telephone and command. I don't take that. I didn't take that from Washington. Then, even if I were elected president, I would not take it. I'm not that kind. I'm not a coward. But I do believe that a good working relationship is essential for any president of Liberia or that president.
I know
with faith.
Our government did well. With those roads, we did a lot of good things. But I'm saying that we could have done better. We could have done a lot better. With the first female president of Africa, she was the darling of the world. Whatever you do in life, you have good, better, and best. You have to admit, and the president herself will be the first to admit that there were a lot of things we could have accomplished that we didn't accomplish. And there were opportunities. One of those opportunities that I talk about is that we pay tuitions for students, for young people coming out of the war. We had been aggressive enough to put into place good vocational training, good programs, would have dislodged most of those young people that followed here. Would have made them better youth for today. When Nancy Pelosi came here and said, Ellie, you let the world light Liberia, I will make up for the electricity here. There are things that we could have done better. The first 6 years, we did very well. But see, later on, there was a decline. There was a decline in many of the things that we could have done. So I'm just saying that we missed opportunities. And I said it in cabinet when they used to talk about donor fatigue. Donor fatigue, one should always know that when you are bereaved and people go to sympathize, they're not going to be with you forever. Take advantage of the time there, make the maximum use.
So I supported Joseph Parker, knowing that by 2023 he'll be tired. Okay. Knowing that 2023 he'll be tired, he could have a good heart, good everything good, but the brain is going down. You're not holding the end, you're moving down the hill. This is nature. My father, right now, I buy him pamper. Every day I gotta buy a pamper. There's a man who bought me pamper before. Mm-hmm. I'm buying pamper now because the time has reached. So I thought the old man could be president in 2017 and run for this. And he sincerely said, when you run for one term, he sincerely, I agree with him. 2023, no, I disagree. In my mind, he should rest. Find somebody else.
I'm filled with a profound sense of gratitude and humility. It has been an honor and a privilege to serve as your president and commander-in-chief for the past 6 years. Together in 2018, we embarked on a journey to build a united, peaceful, and prosperous Liberia. And I am deeply thankful for the trust and support you have bestowed upon me and my administration during my tenure. As we navigate the complexity of governance, your partnership was instrumental in the development and implementation of policies and programs that aim to bring progress and development to our great nation. Reflecting on the accomplishment of these 6 years, let me tell you that I am proud of what we have achieved together. We have built roads, supported free wires and free tuition at high schools and public universities, stabilized the macroeconomic challenges we face in 2018, built hundreds of pro-poor housing units, and achieved on so many fronts that we are able to list here today. However, I acknowledge that there is always room for improvement, and perhaps more could have been done under different circumstances. Regrettably, some of the long-term projects we initiated did not reach completion during my tenure. I am hopeful that the incoming administration will carry the torch forward and bring these initiatives to fruition for the benefit of all Liberians. Fellow compatriots, rumors, and misinformation have played a large part in our politics over the last 6 years. It is my hope we as a country will overcome this challenge over the next 6 years. To begin this, we must start with the facts of the transition. I must report to you that we are leaving behind a better economy than we inherited. Today, President-elect Joseph Nima Bouaka will inherit a stronger economy than I inherited. There is a bigger net international reserve position than was handed me in 2018. I inherited 94,999,000 United States dollars in net international reserves. And I am heading over to the next administration a net international reserve position of 222,700,000 United States dollars. This is 136% increase in the net international reserve position. The total cash balance in the government's consolidated account is United States $40,044,365.90. In 2018, my government inherited a consolidated cash position of $7 million United States dollars. The next administration thus has more resources to deal with emergency macroeconomic challenges than my administration had at its disposal in 2018. My fellow citizens, through our time together, I held still fast to two cornerstones of leadership: keeping the peace and upholding the democratic process and the root of our democratic journey. I am immensely proud that during my tenure, Liberia remained at peace with itself and at peace with its neighbor. Our armed forces, the force of good, were never turned against our own people, and the standard actions were confined to international peacekeeping mission under the United Nations. This peace, sustained by our own domestic resources, is a testament to the maturity and strength of our nation. We protected the inalienable rights of every Liberian citizen as enshrined in our Constitution. Freedom of speech, assembly, and expression were not only preserved, but celebrated. There were no political prisoners or prisoners of conscience during my entire term, a testament to the development of strong democratic institutions that are now not only hailed as competent and professional, but as trusted and credible. Liberia is now regarded as a pillar of democracy in West Africa and a shining example to the world. This was only made possible through our various collaborative efforts. I want to thank all Liberians, regardless of your political affiliation, for staying the course and helping build a stronger and more vibrant nation. As I step aside as president of Liberia, I will remain actively engaged with the politics of the country as standard bearer and political leader of the Coalition for Democratic Change, the CDC, in order to ensure the continuation of our strong and vibrant democracy. I therefore urge you, my fellow citizens, to continue to be Lord-abiding and seek peaceful means to resolve differences, embrace tolerance and dialogue. Let us love one another and come together as one people, one nation, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Let us remember the strength of our unity, the resilience of our democracy, and the hope that lies in the future of Liberia. As we welcome a new era, let us move forward hands in hand with a shared commitment to building a united nation that will continue to strive on observing the tenets of democracy and adhering to the rule of law. May God bless you all.
In Malaysia, I've heard it being said about Japan, I've heard it being said about other countries, but there was a conscious decision on the part of those individuals and the followership. We always talk about leaders, but we never talk about the followers. The followers must also style up. Africans on average are for some reason attracted to thieves. Africans are for some reason attracted to men and women who cannot serve her. And when they are not served, then they complain. When Africans are told, choose you now whom we shall release, Jesus of Nazareth or Barabbas, they say, release Barabbas. And when Barabbas behaves like Barabbas, they say, why are you not behaving like Christ? It cannot be done.
In May of 2001, signed a second of two executive orders, number 13213, Defense Exhibit D310, in which it was stated, and I quote, the government of Liberia's complicity in the RUF's illicit trade in diamonds and its other forms of support for the RUF are direct challenges to the United States foreign policy objectives in the region, as well as the rule-based international order that is critical to the peace and prosperity of the United States. Therefore, I find these actions by the government of Liberia contribute to the unusual and extraordinary threat to the foreign policy of the United States described in Executive Order 13194, with respect to which the President declared a national emergency. This executive order did not say the alleged complicity, it concluded the complicity. The conspiracy was born, all systems put into motion, and here I stand today. I never stood a chance. This is the broader contextual matrix that regrettably did not and still has not seen the light of day in these proceedings, despite the gallant efforts by the defense to unearth and reveal the contextual framework behind the charges against me. Now, with the two executive orders, the dogs were let out, so to speak. What followed was a dispatch of the attack pack led by Lieutenant Colonel David Crane, Defense Intelligence 30 years prosecutor. He, Crane, unlawfully unsealed the court's sealed indictment to his handlers, senior U.S. government officials at the U.S. Embassy in Freetown, and was never held to account. The rest of the operational team are Colonel Brendan Hollis, Defense Intelligence, CIA, U.S. Air Force, Senior Trial Counsel, and Armed Prosecutor. James C. Johnson, U.S. Army expert, 20 years on conventional and special operations, Chief of Prosecutions for the SCSL. Alan White, 30 years, Defense Intelligence, recalled from retirement to head up investigations at the Special Court of Sierra Leone. Stephen J. Rapp came on board as chief prosecutor for a short time of experience from Capitol Hill, where he served with the U.S. Senate Judiciary Committee sometime before. It came as no surprise to me that as a reward of sorts for Stephen Rapp's diligence in the execution of U.S. foreign policy objectives through these ad hoc tribunals, he was appointed U.S. Ambassador at Large for War Crimes issues. In support of the contextual framework of politics, on February 8, 2006, Lieutenant Colonel David Crane, prosecutor, appeared before a U.S. Congress Subcommittee on Africa, Defense Exhibit D404, and spelled out in clear terms the decision taken in support of regime change in Liberia and what needed to happen to solidify that process. There was little mention, if any, in his testimony about Sierra Leone. And here is what he said. I posit that 5 years from now, when the international community is challenged by other crises, Taylor in Calabar, under the protection of Nigeria, will make his move. We will wake up one morning and watch on CNN as Taylor rides triumphantly down the main street in Monrovia to the executive mansion, daring all of us to come and get him. Unless he is handed over to the special court for Sierra Leone, that scenario is not out of the realm of possibilities. He then asked, how do we assure Liberia's future? And he answers that. Ultimately, he says, what we do about Taylor in the next several weeks will determine the fate of Liberia and the new administration of its president, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. Crane then sets out several plans, two of which I'll state here. He said, first, hand Charles Taylor over to the special court for Sierra Leone for a fair trial, his kind of trial. This takes him out of the local and regional dynamics that is West Africa. Second, tie any financial and political support to good governance in Liberia. Time does not permit, but the exhibits are present. Not even the Nigerian nation was spared from threats and intimidation, as explained by Femi Kayode, press secretary to President Obasanjo, the Nigerian head of state, who was with him in Washington when President George W. Bush promised, and I quote, to bring Nigeria to its knees if Taylor was not turned over to the special court. And what happened? Obasanjo buckled and capitulated. Now, this demonstrates the significant pressure that was brought to bear on President Obasanjo, irrespective of his personal and leadership obligations to the West African sub-region. And therein lies the dilemma for current African heads of state and government, but how to enter into binding commitments and obligations with the African pairs and remain steadfast, resolute, and unyielding in their fidelity to those agreements in the face of such unrelenting and punishing pressure from powerful Western leaders.
My people, where you at? Where you at? Working for your stomach. Stop slipping. Whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your hands, whip your. Come on, come on, come on. I know y'all sleeping now. Y'all gotta wake up smart, yeah? Okay, let's go. No, Takonji. If they are not sleeping, they are already up. They are on the alert. If they are energized, they are motivated. They are strong, courageous, prepared, and propelled to join us in engaging the oppressors of the day. Let me say a very, very pleasant good evening to all of you across the country. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to those of you in the diaspora. Our friends, our fans, our followers, our critics. And even those of you who do not like the things we say and the way we say them, it's good to have all of you joining us tonight on another exciting edition of the show. This is Freedom Hard Talk. This is Freedom FM. This is 87.9. And we are broadcasting live from Kerry Street in Monrovia, the nation's capital. Just a lot to talk about, as always. And tonight we place extensive emphasis on the controversies surrounding the Liberian legislature, particularly we place emphasis on the House of Representatives versus the ECOWAS Parliament. And then I'm sure some of you or many of you may have heard in the news that the Supreme Court has issued a summons of the majority, unquote, the majority bloc in the House and the minority bloc in the House. So the majority bloc will go to answer questions. Before the full bench of the Supreme Court, presided over by Her Honor Sienna Johnson, presiding justice in Chimba. Also in the news, the Supreme Court has halted the place is stay order on the case involving Samuel D12, former finance minister, and others. Councillor Yanti Tuan, former national security advisor to the president, Jefferson Kamo, I'm told the former comptroller at the Financial Intelligence Unit, along with its former head. We have a story to tell, and the government will have to listen. The medical sector is challenged, and there are intentional incidents. There are plans that are concocted by health workers in some cases to just take lives away. An experience was shared today by one of our media colleagues, an experience she had at the JFK, and this is scary, folks. I'm going to read verbatim what she wrote in one of our chat rooms. Because of the important nature of this, that's why we're bringing this up. Some of the health workers are wicked. Some are compromised. And so as we talk the politics, as we talk the economy, we have to talk the health sector. And I'm sure after explaining this story, many of you will call in to narrate your own experience you've had with health workers across the country. Some are good, and I think most of them are good, but some of them are terribly dangerous. You know, do you know that as Liberia is fighting, or some Liberians in the executive mansion are fighting, fronting, campaigning, and lobbying for HPX to have access to our rail? The Guinean authorities are building their own rail straight into Sierra Leone. The people say that the junta leader said that nonsense before we're building our rail. What becomes of Liberia's deal with HPX if we just sign that? While you're fronting for HPX to use your rail, where the company is going to be manning the oil, say no, the country will build our own rail. Over 6-lane rail straight into Sierra Leone to transport their oils, even a shorter distance. So why do we have to pass through Liberia? So somebody in the executive mansion is not telling the real story. A few folks, including Mamaka Benedict and the rest, have taken money from HPX, as we are being told. So now they are compelled to put our president, who is not in control, who lacks the capacity, to say, let's form or establish through an executive order a national rail authority. These are the critical issues we are going to be talking about tonight, folks. And so if your battery is not charged, we urge you to charge your battery. You know, our Islamic brothers and sisters are observing the month of the holy month of Ramadan, and we'd like to say to all of you tonight, I think 4 or 5 days to go, 5 days gone. And so, which all of you, the ones we know, the ones we don't know, the ones who know all that we don't know, and all of our followers, our Islamic followers in and around Liberia, in and outside the country, we say happy Ramadan to all of you. We wish you all of the best as you observe these moments of prayers. And we hope you keep us in our prayers as well, in your prayers as well. Yes, this show is proudly sponsored by Crime Stopper Liberia of OMSM Science, and it's in partnership with Radio Entertainment Liberia. Very shortly, we take a break from our sponsor, Crime Stopper Liberia. We come back, we tell you how to play. Tonight, we're paying $10,000 To those of you who will play and win, your payout is 10K. And all you have to do, just make sure you have $200 Liberian on your mobile money account. When you have that, you dial *799 *70 hash. *799 *70 hash and send. After a few seconds, you see two options will appear before you. Option number 1 is asking you to play in US dollars, and option number 2 is asking you to play in Liberian dollars. Whichever option you enter, you send, and you enter your mobile money password. Let's take a break from our sponsor, Crime Stopper Liberia. When we come back, we welcome all of you who've joined us tonight to talk the issues that matter the most to this country's growth, to this country's development. And my name is Austin.
It's about music. There are crowds in many places. In every community, you can see. So if you see crime, report it. Don't take law in your hands for the right authority. Tell it can't take your law in. Crime Stopper here for us. Bringing safety to your door. Whether you rich or you poor. If you see a you must talk it. I mean you check. You work for your safety. If you see it, don't keep it. You must call to report it. Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Crime Stopper Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, they're stopping crime for all of us. Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before. Crime Stopper Liberia, from the center to interior. Crime Stopper, keeping us safe, they're stopping crime for all of us.
Crime Stopper Liberia is your community crime fighting partner. Don't take the law into your own hands. Remember, if you see a crime, report it. This is a message from your own self, Old Man Sam Sion.
Crime Stopper, the people bringing safety to your door. Crime Stopper, stopping crime and making peace for them before.
Oh, thank you very much, Old Man Sam Sion. Okay, so all of you who joined us tonight, it's time to welcome you to the show, beginning with Duete, CDC Pape Success Keita, Aaron Cody, Muyan Sharif. Is this the Muyan Sharif that I know from Tottenham Break? Muyan Sharif, Domo Love Domo, Alaska Pay, Emmanuel Thier, Prosperity, Derek Iyoki, Trust, Bao Digester, okay, Peter's the belated birthday woman, Agatha Glasgow, Blessing Doe, and Sukuma, Emmanuel Jabo, Edina Brown, all of you who've joined us tonight, welcome to the show. And let's move into our conversations tonight, because there are many on the plate and we actually want to exhaust all of the topics tonight as announced. But I'd like to begin with this cash thing and then we can move into it. You see, a lot of folks, have been calling me and expressing concerns about the cash giveaway, okay? And Austin, you don't spend time talking at times. We can forget about the short code, how to play. And so at least when you're talking, you should interrupt, to talk about the cash giveaway or to remind us how to play, because also we can get carried by the show too. We can forget to play. So at least be interrupting the conversation or taking a break and be announcing. I say, okay, we'll place this on a serious consideration, And so, yes, we try to do that, to start doing that beginning tonight. We try to start interrupting our conversation and be reminding you about the cash giveaway we had to play, because yes, you two are our followers and you're part of our audience, and so Yes, so you don't get carried away by just talking. You get reminded regularly about playing the cash giveaway. So yes. So tonight, please listen. Let me spend at least 2 minutes to talk about the cash giveaway, and then we can move into our discussions tonight. Now, the process to play is extremely simple. You just have to be attentive and be willing to, if you want to play. That's why I love to play along with all of you when I'm announcing. So as I'm announcing, this is how the process works, okay? Assuming you have $200 Liberian on your mobile money account and you are listening to the show and you want to play tonight, the least we're paying tonight is $10,000. So if you play and win, it means the least money you will win tonight will be 10,000 Liberian dollars. So I'll take my phone and play along with you. So listen. All you have to do, just dial star 799 star 70 hash. Then you press OK, meaning you send it. Now, when you do that, you will see two options will appear before you. The two options that will appear before you, the first option is asking you to play in US dollars. Say, asking like, Austin, do you want to play in US dollars? Option number 2 is asking whether you want to play in Liberian dollars. Any option you see that, like I said to you always, for me, I love Liberian dollars currency. So let's assume I'm playing in LD. I enter number 2 and then I send. When I do that, the system will ask me to enter my mobile money password. And then I enter my mobile money password. I have already played the cash giveaway. That's how easier the process is. So those of you who've been waiting, we can forget about the code and the conversation can carry us to, and so I will make you be interrupting, to be talking or be announcing the code. No problem. I will get adjusted and try to start doing that. Okay. Now, at times, Lone Star system can be slow. At times, the system can function slowly because imagine 100 persons playing the cash giveaway at the same time. So the traffic, any more persons playing, so the traffic will jam the software. So there are more people playing in, the software will function slowly. It does not mean you are not playing or you are disqualified. So at times, it will take time before the system will ask you to enter your mobile money password. Then maybe you just drop the phone and forget that you're supposed to enter your mobile money password, thinking you have played, but you have not played. So you have to exercise patience and listen carefully. Okay? Now, again, the process to play is first, then make sure you have $200 Liberian dollars, the least on your mobile money account, or its equivalent in US dollars. When you have that, as I'm talking now, you can even be playing. Okay? When you have that, again, I'm going to play along with all of you. You dial star. Let me take my time because I'm not a fast talker. So I'll take my time. You dial star 799 star 70 hash. Then you press OK or you send. Two options will appear before you. Option number 1 is asking you to play in US dollars. And option number 2 is asking you to play in Liberian dollars. When you enter number 2, for example, it means you are playing in Liberian dollars. Then you send, and then they will ask you to enter your mobile money password. That's all you have to do. Very easy to play and all of that. So as I'm talking, I know there are folks who have been playing because the dashboard is telling me that, yes, folks are playing. So tonight, like I said, the least we are paying tonight is $10,000. So we'll do draws maybe around 9:15 or 9:30. We'll come to start doing the draws for you, the first set of draws, and see how many persons we can pay $10,000 each tonight. So it's an opportunity for you to play as we move into our discussions tonight. Now, I know a lot of things have been happening around the country and other places. I know that the quote unquote ruling party opposition bloc have been having their own issues. But there are some fundamental issues that we just cannot spend 2 hours on the radio and not talking about. Let me read for you. This is what the court has said in a case involving Samuel Toy. These are just updates that we have to give you. And the Liberian investigator is reporting this one under the caption: Supreme Court places stay order on 12 others corruption case. And let's just read 1 or 2 or 3, 4, 5 paragraphs around there, and then we can move on to something else. So the Liberian investigator of our good friend Leonard Dudu is reporting that the Liberian investigator has gathered that the Supreme Court of Liberia has issued a stay order on the high-profile economic sabotage case involving former Finance Minister Samuel Toy and 4 other former officials temporarily halting proceedings pending a conference. The decision follows the lower court's rejection of a motion to dismiss, which the defense has filed, arguing that the defendants were protected under national security laws and executive immunity provisions. The case centers on allegations that Toy, along with former acting Justice Minister Yanti Tuan, former National Security Advisor Jefferson Camo, former director of the Financial Intelligence Agency Staniff S4, and former FIA controller D. Moses Cooper orchestrated the unauthorized transfer of $1 billion plus and US $500,000 from the Central Bank of Liberia to the FIA's operational accounts. Prosecutors allege that the funds remain unaccounted for, pointing to financial misconduct at the highest levels of the former administration. But the Supreme Court's decision to place a hold on the trial represents a legal twist in a case that has seen a battle over the interpretation of national security laws, executive immunity, and financial oversight. Sources familiar with the ruling indicate that the High Court intends to review the constitutionality of the lower court's decision before allowing the trial to proceed. And then you go forward, you see the argument made by the defense and all of that. The defense has persistently argued that the defendants were acting under the direct authority of former President George M. Weah, who chaired the National Security Council, and that their actions fall within classified national security operations, making them immune from prosecution, making them safe from prosecution, preventing them from prosecution. They cited the National Security Reform and Intelligence Act of 2011 and the Financial Intelligence Agency Act of 2022 as the basis for their immunity claims. The movements were all members and agents of the National Security Council of Liberia, who were responsible for carrying out the functions of the National Security Council, chaired by the President of Liberia. Their actions were strictly for national security purposes, and this court does not have the jurisdiction to review such matters, the defense argued in its motion. So this is just an excerpt from all of that and everything. Blah, 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 blah. So the prosecution said, they say the prosecution is insisting that the case is that this matter is not a matter of national security, but a matter of public financial accountability. So the Supreme Court, Toy's team have filed before the lower court asking them to dismiss the case because they cannot go into the detail of the operations that were funded by the money that they're being accused of, and as such, go into the investigation, prosecuting or investigating them will be subjecting them to revealing sensitive or classified national security operations or information, which they could be or they would be held liable and prosecuted for by the National Security Agency if they do that. Now, so there are other folks who are arguing that, hey, since you want to prosecute these people, and these people are saying they withdrew these monies, to cater to national security, sensitive national security operations, and they are guarded by the principle of classification and confidentiality. To do that, to prosecute them, you must declassify the entire operations that were funded by the $1 billion plus Liberian dollars and over 500,000 US dollars. So 2 options. If you want to investigate these guys are saying yes, the money, they're not denying that they didn't withdraw the money. They're saying yes, we withdrew these monies, but they were intended to fund national or to cater the national security issues. Now, to ask them what are the national security issues, it means the state must say, okay, we are going to declassify that operation that the money was spent on. BACA has the authority, the UP has the authority now. So all we can say is, if you want to proceed with the investigation, then all you have to do, let's with the NSA, consult your national security team, and then you declassify the entire operation. Then you subject the people, the actors, to an investigation. Because the actors cannot go there and reveal anything. And they are guarded by laws. So because we cannot reveal anything, because we're guarded by laws, so proceeding into the prosecution will be like telling us, come here and say what you are not supposed to say. Come here and reveal classified and sensitive national security operations. And they cannot do that under the classification clause. To do that or to proceed with prosecution, it means the state must say, okay, we declassify that operation. It happens in the US on many occasions. They declassify particular operations and the state move in to prosecute. Even under Donald Trump first term, that happened. Even the Donald Trump investigation, having access to the laptop and all the kinds of things, the state declassify those things, scraping off some of the immunities from Donald Trump as president when he acted, and then they put or ran into the investigation. So if Joe BACA is serious, if the state is serious to prosecute Toye and others, then it's just easier. I mean, it's easier to do. Move into your national security meeting, take a decision to declassify the entire operation that money was spent on, then you can announce the declassification. Say, we hereby declassify that operation and authorize the Ministry of Justice to proceed into prosecution. Now, when you declassify that operation, you subject that operation to an audit process. Meaning the audit process must find criminality. Because if you declassify, then you subject it to an audit process. Based on the audit report, you move down to investigation, charging, and then indictment and prosecution. Okay? So, I mean, in serious minded countries presided over by serious presidents, or serious leaders, responsible leaders, mature leaders, careful leaders, this is how it works. This is how it should be. But for us, for our country, we do not have, serious leaders. The legislature is a mess. The president, the person who presides over the presidency is a disaster and a disgrace to democracy, politics, and governance. So we wouldn't see these things happening. Quality leadership, quality decisions are made by people with capacity, people with wisdom, people with experience, real-time experience. Okay, so that's all I can say in this summer tour thing. Now let's go to this whole JFK. Our health sector is challenged, folks. In the story I'm about to tell, the piece I'm about to read, some of you will find yourself deeply concerned, and you'll find yourself in this piece. And I am a witness and a victim indirectly That's why I'm attracted to this piece. Now, this is what a Liberian journalist wrote in one of our chat rooms. And she said, and I need all of you to listen, because every one of you, everyone is affected. Everyone is a victim of what I'm about to read. A living story, an eyewitness account of what transpired at JFK today. I'm saying David Hospital. I'm saying JFK. This is a Liberian journalist narrating her physical or practical experience at JFK. So you almost listen, because there's an advance in this. Some of you have been going to the hospital, the JFK, other places, carelessly, donating blood to your relatives, buying blood and all of that, and not having any clue of how the blood is being applied to your relative and all of that. Some go to apply blood, your patient die. You don't even know what happened. You think it's just normal medical thing. Not knowing, in some cases or instances, there are mistakes. In some cases, it's deliberate. Let's read. I will not call the Liberian journalist's name. This journalist writes, she said, a must read. I had an encounter this morning, which is today, this morning. I went to the JFK Medical Hospital this morning to see my neighbor's child who was admitted. There, I met my uncle, who was also taking his 2-year-old daughter for treatment. My uncle's daughter needed blood. A comparison was made, and it became positive that the baby and him have the same blood type, making it easy for him to give blood to his daughter. When the blood was extracted from his body, the laboratory technician took the blood away and immediately replaced it with another blood. Let me read that again. When the blood was extracted from his body, the laboratory technician took the blood away and immediately replaced it with another blood. Let me read that again. When the blood was extracted from his body, the laboratory technician took the blood away and immediately replaced it with another blood, and returned with a very dark, cold, and solid blood, and demanded the child be given the blood. My uncle is the dean. Oh, no, I'm not putting one there. Yeah, when I put it on there, you don't know who we're talking about. Okay, but my uncle is the dean of a nursing college. So uncle is the dean for the nursing college at one of, or uncle is the dean for the nursing college at one of the higher institutions of learning in this country. But that laboratory technician did not know that the uncle had medical experience and knowledge. So she said, my uncle is the dean of the nursing college at blah, blah, blah institute. So medically, he has some knowledge. When he noticed the blood, he insisted that the blood removed from his body was not the blood the laboratory technician had returned. It became a concern, and when the laboratory technician realized that he had a medical background, and when the laboratory technician realized that he had a medical background, meaning that her uncle had a medical background, he then apologized and went for the red blood he had earlier on extracted from the uncle's body. I'm bringing this to our attention that perhaps not all deaths occurring at JFK Medical Hospital are normal deaths. Some could be intentional, etc. If ever you have a sick family member, always make sure you take the patient to the hospital with an intelligent person who will monitor the activities of the doctors and nurses. God first. If my uncle wasn't intelligent, he would have sat there and those doctors would have killed his daughter this morning. I saw the baby. She has already been administered the rat blood and now responding to treatment. Folks, these are some of the things that we prioritize on this show. We should be flecking. Not every day politics and politics and politics and politics, because the politicians will mislead you every day and they will not build the capacity of the health sectors, of the health facilities, and you have unqualified, reckless people that catering to patients. I tell you two experiences. You know, my wife is an SDA, right? So I normally visit the SDA, some of the SDA activities, and I'm familiar or friends with some of the SDA pastors. And then the SDA pastor that I've gotten to know and I got so close to and started admiring him because of his homo behavior, activities, calm, so polite and thing. He lost his wife a couple of weeks ago. And I say this to you folks, when you hear the story is told that the pastor had taken assignment in Grand Bassa. And his wife had an emergency and she took an operation in Monrovia and she went to Grand Bassa. But the wound or the sore are not healed, so she had to return for cleaning and touching regularly. But she started to feel, unsettled pain within the stomach and all of that. Because of the emergency nature, they said, let's rush the person to Grand Bassa, to the hospital in Grand Bassa. And the story is told that when the people in Grand Bassa were catering to her, they found that she died, in fact. And after the death, they realized that the person who did the operation left an object in her, whether intestine or whatsoever, but they left an object in her. That led to her death. And that pastor is still mourning, freshly mourning the loss of his wife because of a carelessness or unprofessional attitude or behavior of just one. And guess what? We are even told that the person who even did that, normally someone performing surgery and think you have people, students, nurses, or doctors around helping, give me the scissor, give me this. And normally when the doctor performing the surgery, people have to leave there to clean and take the one from there, when the scissor is used, they take it from there. When this other object is used, they remove it. We're told that student, person who was there aiding the surgery, forgot and left an object. They now remove the object and doctor closed the place. Carelessness led to the death of somebody's wife. She left her kids behind. That father to cater to. Sadly for our country, nothing happens. When that happens, the government does not say anything. The government does not do anything. And some of us don't even pursue these matters before these professional bodies that are responsible for licensing. But in serious countries, people pay damages. He lost his wife. There's another experience that I will share with you, and then I will close on this chapter with myself. During the heat of the election, my son was not really, he was off and on and thing. And I used to be afraid to go to the hospital actually because he's using my full name. The other day he was telling me Richard Kun went on their campus and when he was interacting with all of them, and Richard Kun went into the class, and the moment Austin called his name, he said, "Oh, I know your pa. I know your pa, Jonas, I know your pa." And when Austin came, Austin was telling me. So the name, when you call a name, someone else, they can easily trace you. So I always love to go to the hospital for my kids myself because my wife, when she got emotional issue, temperament issue, so she got patient. So I love to go there and be observing. The first time it happened, I went to the hospital. When Austin called his name, all the guys said, "Oh, and I back and sitting on radio, putting him more on Joe Parker." At the time, CDC was in power. So I was behind. He didn't see me. He didn't notice me. I heard it. I did not hear it. So Madam Kim was, I said, I was my son taking treatment. I said, wow. She said, we all the doctor. You didn't hear what that male doctor said. And I said, I heard it. Just relax. So we handled that matter professionally. The second time we went back to it, and what I'm explaining happened at JFK. Not different hospital, JFK. The second time, she took Austin at the hospital, the same JFK. And another person made similar remark, even though the person, according to her, I was not there, the person was laughing. Oh, yeah, I can be on radio, people will be talking BBT and all the kind of thing. So she called me and said, Austin, I'm scared. I'm leaving Austin here. I came Austin back home or going different place. I said, who the doctor said that? I was going to the hospital to go and identify the doctor and file an official complaint to the administration or the management team at JFK. Because it was the second time. Now, I've never said this before. I'm saying this now. So for all of you listening, and this is extremely important that you take this into serious consideration, all of you, regardless of which political party you come from, because in these hospitals, there are people there who have feelings and admiration for George Weah and CDC. In the hospital, there are people who have feelings and admiration for Joe Barker or the Unity Party. So they're not also UB people in these hospitals, and they're not also CDC people in these hospitals. They are divided on political lines. And some of them are so unprofessional to the extent that they take their political sentiments to their professional work, to their professional environment, and start identifying people. Imagine a medical doctor in the pediatric ward is telling the parent, the mother of a child, innocent child, and you're parking beyond radio talking to Joe Barker whole day. So what do you think that man, if that man is giving the opportunity to cater to my son, what do you think he's going to do? So he didn't take treatment there. And fortunately for us, we had some people, everybody got their own connection. And so we are communicated that quietly to some people who are family members and friends to medical doctors at JFK and say, okay, no problem. I'm working on that. I'll be here and monitoring the kid, all of that. So we entrusted that, and the kid took the treatment there. And she begged, some of them begged, oh man, forget to beg you, we kill the kid, just be careful, we know what's happening. Then I would talk to him. So somebody said I would talk to him privately about that. And that's how we settled that matter. But the point is, imagine if I did not have anybody at that level to have confided in or spoken to or with about the matter, and they didn't go in to talk to him. Imagine the ordinary people who do not have anybody, who do not know anybody, no connection at all. Imagine one regular caller who is popular or famous for calling regularly on the radio, but does not have the strength or the strong connection that other people have. Imagine what's going to happen. Just imagine what was going to happen to that 2-year-old child today. If the father of that child was not a medical person, and you take the wrong blood to apply it to a 2-year-old child. I mean, that's not unprofessionalism. That's wickedness. That was being evil. And I was like, can this journalist go back and see whether we can identify that person? Because look, if I open the telephone lines right now, all of you who've been going to hospitals and things, why these news, these terrible news will keep coming from the bigger or the biggest hospitals around the country? People say the Liberia's number one or Liberia's biggest referral hospital. You have the worst news coming from there. I mean, normally, people should feel confident to seek medication, regardless of your political view, regardless of your theme. At places like JFK. And these news continue to come from there. 2-year-old child, my people, imagine 2-year-old innocent child will have lost her life today because of either greed or unethical behavior or wickedness. So the man go and take blood. He gave it to you, did the testing, everything. The blood type match. He took his blood from inside him to save his daughter. And you took his blood and carry and retain with another blood. Cold. Not even smart. Imagine how many of us go to the hospital to donate blood to our relatives. And we do not even have the medical knowledge to determine whether the blood is they just extracted from you that ate the blood bag. And you know what? I have sat in hospital before. I see people go and donate blood. The blood fresh. They carry the blood. They bring the blood back. That means black. Cold. So I was like, the blood you for any person here, they just carry that egg, they bring back cold, they. So this should claim the attention of the government. I know the government is irresponsible, reckless, and just careless. But hey, even if the administrative arm of the medical sector cannot act, hey man, the chief medical officer, which I'm told is at JFK, needs to do something. The integrity of our health sector matters a lot. The reputation, if every sector can fail or should fail this country, people, folks, the health sector should not be a part of the sectors that Liberian people will say we don't have confidence in, we don't have trust in. This has to do with lives. Hundreds of thousands of lives go to these different places to seek survival at the expense of your fasting, your own fast senses that God gave you, at the expense of the decision, the professional judgment that you all care or healthcare givers will make. So if you decide to go for the least, to the extent that a 2-year-old child will be victim, my daughter is 2-year-old. Ostina is 2. So just place yourself as a parent that a 2-year-old child will have lost or life today. I'm not a medical person to tell you the medical implication that it could cause. All the medical people I call, people come on the radio to talk to them, and ask them some questions. They all say, my man, we talk behind the scene, but someone else say, call me after the show. I will listen to your show. Call me after the show. Someone else say, my man, who don't want to get involved with politics. But this is not politics. This is life. We're talking about a 2-year-old child here that would have either suffered from complication today. If she didn't lose her life, she would have suffered from some kind of medical complication. Only because of one unethical person sitting somewhere or one devilish person sitting somewhere. Folks, we've heard a lot. We know a lot of the health sector. And that's why most of us do not trust. When you see politicians, themes of famous people avoiding seeking medical treatment in Liberia, that's not because they feel comfortable going, running plane, going India and all in Ghana and all in Africa. That trust, that lack of trust. So when I hear Joe Biden saying when he become president, no government official child will be allowed to go to private school, no government official will seek medication outside of Liberia. The next day when he finished there do inauguration, the next month he was flown all year. When he went to ELWA, a picture started surfacing. They said no, Papa, here too much now. Anytime you want to see treatment, will carry outside. Confidentiality, just. So when famous people or politicians or leaders do not have confidence in the health sector, they will not go there for treatment. They will go outside. So the first thing, like I said earlier, the integrity of the health sector, we have to place emphasis and priority on the integrity of the health sector. That place is, when it comes to information management, that place should be like the NSA. Things that happen down there, patients go there with their private complications that are supposed to be kept highly classified and confidential. At times, you are seeing enter the hospital, say, "Oh, that one, I mean, someone, they have problem. I mean, whole system damage. I mean, get people, disaster, people, HIV, AIDS, news all around. To the extent, so many saying, go, I'm coming down, be let me go. Health workers, no confidentiality. Today, I listen to Ide Gongdo Way. And let me play this. Let me play it back. So, folks, all of you, you're taking your people to the hospital now, you have to be careful. You have to be careful. Just be on the alert. Because some of you do not have the money. Some of us, in fact, do not have the money to seek medical attention outside. So we're just forced to go to get local care, medical care. So we have to be on the alert. We have to be extremely careful. When we are going to seek to get medical attention, because that's the only place we have here. The bigger ones with the bigger pocket, with the biggest pockets, can go other places. So like I said, I will try to adjust to be interrupting the conversation. So we're about to transition or something. But let me play this recording from Edith Gongdo, where it's important about confidentiality. Then we'll close on this chapter and move on to something to our main topic. Now, the cash giveaways start at $200 you gotta have. The advantage is you have to play. They say the more you play, the better the chances are, right? But if you have $200 $100 on your account, you can play. All you have to do, make sure you dial *799 *70 hash. Again, *799 *70 hash. You send, two options appear. You enter option number 1, it means you are playing in US dollar. When you enter option number 2, it means you are playing in LD. You send, and then you enter your mobile money password. Listen to Edith Gongdo where what she had to say today about the vice president. Immediately she held with the vice president. And what happened? Listen to her.
I was really stunned and disappointed because it's not about Honorable Jeremiah Kwan. As far as the taking of the picture, I was really stunned and disappointed because it's not about Honorable Jeremiah Kwan. It is about the vice presidency of the Republic of Liberia and its orbit. That office requires stringent security measures that people who come within the orbit of the vice president, their image will be protected. And that did not happen to me. I felt that my image was compromised. And that, for me, is really, it's not good for the vice president's image. That's all I can say. I was told, I immediately shot him what I saw, that Mr. Vice President, look what has happened. I took my time to respect your office. And nobody asked me, or nobody told me they were taking my picture. What is this? What if it had been a foreign guest? That's a breach of the person's confidentiality. That's the breach of the person's security. How you answer to that? The vice president quickly wrote back and said he was launching an investigation, and whoever was responsible was going to be, brought to book and would be punished. But the point there is, it doesn't tell good of the office. It should not happen.
Now, the story is Edith is contesting as senator in Nimba. Edith had gone to Capitol Building not to only meet with the Vice President Jeremiah Kun, but she had gone to whole consultative meetings with lawmakers, not only lawmakers from Nimba, but other lawmakers. I know. I saw her in the building the same day she's talking about. I saw her meet with other lawmakers, senators, preferably, particularly because I saw her leaving the offices of, I think, 2 or 3 other senators that are not from Nimba. But the meeting held with the Vice President, her photos from the meeting held with the Vice President surfaced in the public on social media. Then she was there, but the meeting here was intended, was a private meeting. It was intended for just private consultation. It was not a meeting where it was open for all to come and have, where he will announce it and all of that. No. In the meeting, nobody came to me to take my picture. Nobody came to us for auto. We did not post for any picture. We didn't sit down together with somebody standing taking pictures. So taking picture was not part of the agenda or did not form part of the formality for the meeting. How come I'm seeing my picture as leaked? Especially the manner form in which it is like a leaked picture. Now, the issue is not about the picture because Edith is a public figure. She can go anywhere. In fact, she's a public figure. Then she went for a meeting at Capitol Building. Her picture was not taken in the corridor of the Capitol Building. Her picture was not taken on the grounds of the Capitol Building. Her picture was taken in the space that the private meeting was held and shared on social media. The question about confidentiality. Yeah. This is not just the question about confidentiality, but the question about confidentiality in the office of the Vice President. It means somebody sneaked, hid his or herself, took the picture of Edith that she are going to beg or she are going to steal of a private meeting between the Vice President of a country and her. And notoriously, with ulterior motive, did not even share the picture with Jeremiah Kun, which I'm not too sure that he's not in the know. Neither did the person share the picture of Edith with her very self. But instead, they choose to post the picture on social media in a denigrating form. So the point is, hey, Mr. Vice President, what's happening to your office? How can you call for a private meeting or embrace a private meeting with a prominent citizen from your country? And you reveal picture on a weird picture in the public. What's up with confidentiality of your office? It means your office, in your office, confidentiality, nobody can trust anything happening in this office now. We can't go to your office to have meetings, confidential meetings or private meetings. Because where the meeting was held, no cameraman out there taking picture. How come my picture surface? It means somebody was hiding taking my picture. The country has confidentiality. I say this to all my security friends every day. To the extent that they work investigative journalism now, setting paper color or by paper color. The kind of efforts that some at times my friends, my man, we usually enjoy our Pram FM. Just usually join us at Pram FM. That two group of people. One group of people just wanted, they are just accustomed to the facts, to boldness, to bravery of people behind the microphone. Those people, they still follow us because we have not changed. The other group of people will say, I used to enjoy our Pram, that the UP people, because Pram FM editorial policy was different then. It was leaning the pro-government. So yeah, so they used to enjoy us at Pram. But that was not a real issue. The point is, folks, investigative, we used to invest our energy, our time, everything running around investigating sensitive political or economic or health related or human interest stories. These days, how many times do you hear about investigative journalists in Liberia again? Because the whole country, the system is broken, the system cannot be trusted, so confidentiality has been broken down to the least. So journalists no more suffer for sensitive information to publish as news articles again. You can send that to your house, then technology makes it easier again. So you see, citizen journalism, no confidentiality. So how they about investigative journalism? Feeling no work being applied, no energy anymore. But confidentiality is key. When confidentiality in the society is high, it increases the bar for journalists to investigate. See, fast check people are not doing serious work in the country. That free money eating from USA, Intel News, and all of places. The European Union, they're doing serious work. Because anybody is not anywhere fast check anything. The technology makes it easier. So that free money you say Intel News and paying the people, fast checkers, free money. Free money. What do you fast checking? The country not get no confidentiality again. The whole country said they're investigating information that is supposed to be considered classified. They said, no, you can't. The money you spend on national security operation, you cannot investigate. Something that should not be happening. If the country at that level is investigating information and operation, a national security operation that is supposed to be considered classified and kept classified, they say you cannot investigate in the court too. So who's going to keep anything or take anything like any word that classify or classification seriously? Because one segment in here we got one money saying, y'all go investigate a minute. When I think they call security operation, y'all go investigate it. You breach the doctrine of classification under your own laws, under your own national security laws. And the folks at the NSA will sit down and don't even advise the National Security Council to say, no, you can't do that here. You can politicize national security operations. Our politics should not reach to that level. Two things we want to do. If you want to investigate, then declassify the information. But first, we have to analyze it. Let's have an inside conversation with these people. If you take these people and call them, if you call to a man an invitation, go for the invitation. You can't sit down here. National security people, National Security Council will say, this is a national security meeting. We're giving you access because of you are a former finance minister. We're giving you access to this meeting to have an in-house conversation because you're former national security advisor. Can you tell us? Can you give us some idea so we can pick up from here? Who knows what some of that money was paying through some construction companies that even renovated Joe Biden house after election? So national security operation is difficult to be audited, to be investigated because that covered. That's why they say covered. It's not overhead. It's not in the open. It's covered. So that people won't spend money on you. Very Joe Biden, they'll pass it to 10th party. To the 10th party. It comes to you like from one, maybe one of the family members can say, "Baby, me I'm a politician. That's one 100,000 naira." You don't even know that person working for the National Security Agency. They can use 100,000. I think, oh yeah, my daughter brought me 100,000. Did I come and tell you it? But you know, okay, I responded to renovate the house. All the security cameras or CDD will do this. Okay, we're going to build all the strength of your security. You don't know all that. You're not privy to all those things. 30 to 50% will be assigned with you. Covered. You don't even know they assigned with you. Your security people do not even know them. You always see them. Maybe you always see them UP t-shirt passing around on a battlecraft. UP battlecraft today. You don't know what they're doing. People could be external or backup forces for you doing your campaign tour. You don't know. So you say you won't go investigate. The man should go stand in court and tell you, say, oh, during the election, the president, especially during the runoff, the president, the two candidates in the runoff, anybody was a potential president. In the US, they bring all that in there, plenty political parties, you know. So yeah, in the US, the Republic, when you are a presidential candidate now, you're elected on the Republican and the Democratic, they gave you presidential treatment. Even if there's an incumbent president, they give you, presidential immunity. You start to enjoy it upon your election as Democrat or Republican candidate. They start to give you presidential immunities. They start to upgrade your security, upgrade your home security, everything. Your family people, they all start getting, they get access to national security guardians. They're not free. In Liberia, they will not tell you everything because of the nature of the country and all of that. These things happen. So our officials are supposed to be sensitive to these things, but they are not. Two things are there. Some of them are insensitive and extremely illiterate, so they don't care. And the second thing is, some of them may be in the know, but because they're so ignorant and arrogant, so they say, let's allow our arrogance to be cloud, our sense of reasoning and honor, bury our ethics, our national security knowledge, and let's prosecute them. You don't know. There are too many. In fact, you are not supposed to know. The law says you must not know. It's not a law that says, oh, you can use information. Even the information, the Freedom of Information Act is clear. It's clear. The Freedom of Information Act protects people acting under national security or guardians. The Information Act, the Information Freedom of Information Act is clear. It is protective of individuals acting under national security networks, not to disclose with your information, national security information. Your very Freedom of Information law forbids that. But you in our country, Joe Biden is saying, hey, you're declassified, you'll go to court and prosecute the people. What kind of sense is that? What kind of sense is that? Then somebody tells me the man got 42-year experience, the man is wise, he's an elder, and all of that. When we talk, you say, why would we be talking to the papi like that? They seem to pressure Baka and beat Hebian that force him to decommission the audit of the NSA. When we told you that the decision for the person who advised the papi to go and audit NSA was a wrong decision. If that holds, they make me declassify everything in the country and start auditing national security operations. What happened? We pressure him. I'm told the external pressure compel him to decommission the audit of the NSA. Then he comes back. He said, we indirectly audit the operations of the NSA. They go for this financial transaction from the central bank to FIU. They both say, no, but this is classified. This is national security operation. It's classified. He said, no, because I told them involved that CDC people, y'all go prosecute. I told Dito the other day, I said, me, that thing you give me, I can't be government official, I can't be politician. Because I can't take certain nonsense. I'm telling you. I can't take certain nonsense. You're wasting your time. Free money is spending beyond lawyer. The people say you go toilet, the people say you go to where you spend the money. You know, did that in your eye, you didn't use that money for yourself. You know, you don't even get that money in your account. Go to all. He started laughing. And I was serious with him. I said, go to all. Start from Baka home. Start from the campaign time doing Baka campaign when you're going past it and say, oh, around here. Just start from everything. You call the people there, you call project students. Then you go to everything. They will just to all. We press takla. Then you start more, you go sit down. Because I tell when people are acting stupid, it's good to expose their stupidity. So when you're finished talking, and I say, people can call you, you're getting your center finger, so you're going anywhere. Because enough of this stupidity. There are certain things that just don't make sense, but people want to force it to make it look that it is sensible enough. Your own law continue to tell you, say, this is not possible. This should not be happening. This should not happen. This cannot happen. In fact, when this even happen, it is a bigger crime. Then a handful of people sit and say, they're happy. The case with Samuel Toy and Jefferson Campbell. They say that politics. I see you talk, my man, that politics. How you politicize everything, even the application of your laws, you politicize them. But you want ECOWAS to take you serious. And ECOWAS is a community of different people, for different African countries who ratify the treaties and different documents to admit you into their membership. All your laws, you violating all your laws. They are following. And then when it reaches to them, they say, no, you can violate your laws, like your domestic issues. But don't allow your domestic issues to spill over to ECOWAS, and you are using them to even give us instruction to act. ECOWAS does not take instruction from a member state. ECOWAS takes recommendation or suggestions from a member state. The very ECOWAS came here to talk to these same people. They said they were not listening to ECOWAS. They said it was the two ECOWAS. It was an internal issue. It was a domestic parliamentary issue, and they will handle it using their domestic laws. When it comes to replacing 3 persons from ECOWAS, they say, no, we're not using our domestic law. We will use the ECOWAS or the community law. But no, your domestic law is applied only in your country. If your domestic law says you can replace anybody at any time, good, replace them. But here, I want a lawyer say, anybody that is appointed here, that is sent here, minimum 3 years. When 3 years not they can go. If your domestic law say you can remove speaker, any way you want to remove the speaker, go ahead. But don't allow it to spill over to ECOWAS. So ECOWAS will not interfere with your internal political disagreement. So you solve your issue. There is an appropriate way that parliaments or parliamentarians are saying here. As far as we can say, there is a speaker. There is a speaker. Look at what even your courts are saying. Let's go to what the courts are saying. So, folks, don't forget to be playing your cards. Give away. I don't know. People tell me to do some jaws, but I'm not too sure I want to do that now. I want to do the jaws at the end of the show because I just want to exhaust all of okay. Yeah. I can pay some people. I think I'm gonna pay 3 persons $1,000 each as frequent players, and then we can move on to this thing. So let me just now. The Supreme Court has written this, folks. And we'll not spend much time on this because I'm sure most of you are aware. This is not what the Supreme Court wrote. This is our Supreme Court. The people who fighting ECOWAS and causing ECOWAS. The Supreme Court wrote, all in the presence of all of the 5 justices of the Supreme Court bench, they said, in reference, Speaker J. Fonanti Kofa and members of the House of Representatives of the 55th Legislature, informants. They are the ones who filed a bill of information to the court. How you hear the court calling Fonanti? How do you hear the court calling him? Speaker J. Fonanti Kofa, that the court referring to him as Speaker of the Supreme Court. Versus Representative Richie N. Kuhn, purported Speaker of the House of Representatives. This is a bill of information file. This is, sorry, not bill, there's someone from the Supreme Court of Liberia. This is someone from the Supreme Court of Liberia. Purported Speaker of the House of Representatives of the 55th Legislature. Representative Thomas Fala, Deputy Speaker. Thomas Fala is a legitimate Deputy Speaker of the Republic of Liberia. The court recognizes that. Members of self-star majority bloc of the government of Liberia. Members of the self-star majority bloc of the government of Liberia, represented by the Minister of Justice. See, that your self-star members, majority bloc, and the government of Liberia you're representing. Members of the self-star majority bloc of the government of Liberia. This is of the House of Representatives. You see, of the government of Liberia. The government of Liberia doing business with. Represented by the Minister of Justice and Attorney General, Republic of Liberia, respondents. I didn't go and respond to the Bureau of Information. What I say? Republic of Liberia to Brigadier General Amos B. Kesset Dixon, Senior Marshal, Supreme Court of Liberia, or his deputy Morovia. Greetings. You are hereby commended to notify the respondents, the purported speaker now 18, the respondents in the above entitled cause of action to appear and file their returns before the full bench of the Honorable Supreme Court of the Republic of Liberia, Temple of Justice, on Monday, March 14, 2025, at the hour of 9:00 a.m. to show cause why the information as prayed for should not be granted, and you are further commanded to instruct the respondents herein to file their official returns to this rate in the office of the clerk of the Honorable Court on or before the 14th day of March AD 2025, and to read to them the original and leave a copy of the writ with the respondents, and as to when and how you shall have served the writ, you will make known by filing your official returns hereto on the back of the original copy of this writ in the office of the chief clerk of this honorable court on or before the 14th day of March AD 2025. And for so doing, this shall constitute your legal and sufficient authority. Giving on our hand and seal of the Honorable Supreme Court of the Republic of Liberia, this 4th day of March AD 2025, Councillor Sam Momolu, Clerk, Supreme Court of Liberia. What do you all have to say? The Supreme Court said, we recognize you. After Associate Justice Jamin Gbese said, no. We first will boycott the State of the Nation address because we not recognize that they are presiding officer in his side. That's the first thing. We recognize a speaker that doesn't have the majority to conduct business. But he is a speaker. It does not change the fact that he is a speaker. The only thing is he does not have the number to conduct normal business. The side that has number that in the majority, they do not have the legitimacy, the constitutional legitimacy to proceed or do business or transact in the name of the legislature, because we don't see a speaker there. How is that so difficult for grown-up men and women to understand and return to status quo ante? How is that difficult? But because we have a majority that is extremely illiterate, it has insufficient education, that is why these things are happening. And they are drowning in greed. Greed for money, greed for power. So they will not see they will not see sense. I always told you, they say when the baboon ready to die, it no longer hears the sound of the whistle. This is the case with the so-called majority bloc. That your international partners are rejecting a decision that you have taken, and you still don't find it extremely shameful and disgraceful and embarrassing to not only the legislature but the entire country. And that's where all of us as citizens must be able to muster the bravery and the courage to stand up to this legislature for once. We must stand up. We must stand up. We can't keep sitting in a lying group of illiterate people misrepresenting our integrity, misrepresenting our country, embarrassing our country, everything, and we cannot muster the bravery and the courage to stand up to them. Then who are we? We are equally as useless or as illiterate as they are proceeding or as they are. But if we stand up to them, if we stand up to that illiteracy, what it's going to do is it's going to record us in the history of decency. And all of you who want to be recorded in the history of decency, it's time that you join us to muster the bravery and the courage to stand up to those group of elected lawmakers and tell them, hey, this is enough. This is enough. The laws must be respected. It must be respected at all times. You won't call on the 9,000 firefighter from anywhere to come and do investigation down there. Fine. But hey, what you are supposed to do, what the law requires you to do, you must do it. For the 9 signatures, 50 signatures, you're not able to get. Now, yeah, let's say they want to impeach again. You need majority to tell majority to impeach again. How you going to impeach him? How you going to expel him? You don't even get a number to even remove, to even sign a resolution to remove Fonadi Kofa. You still struggling with that one. Then you won't go take different. You won't go take another decision again to expel somebody. They see law say to expel them, you need to tell majority. You not get to tell that again. You still fighting here today to remove Fonadi. That everybody is beating your back. Everybody is rejecting you because you not get a number to remove Fonadi. They still law say you must. To remove or expel, you need to turn majority. To expel a member. Then I hear somebody one other useless one from Rivergiano Johnson wedding telling somebody say they may be punished, they may need to be impeached or expelled. You get a number to expel. That 1, 2, you are not even a legitimate group. You are not recognized. You do not have the authority. That does not fall within the scope of your authority. That's why the Supreme Court said ultra virus, meaning you are acting outside your authority, outside of your scope. No law guards you. No law is going to protect you. How are you going to impeach or even suspend somebody? You don't even get authority to suspend because your entire setting is illegal. So how are you going to suspend somebody? And the executive is sitting there. I'm just disappointed people that got Augustine Kafan. I can say this every day. Every day. But again, I thought, relationship can, because I don't get that for the man. Yeah. Let me just do the man. Let me just forget about him. At times, relationship. But some people, I told people before, I say, hey, I don't support Gafan resigning his job to come here and take up the Ministry of Finance job. I didn't say that because he's not qualified. Because I knew the disaster or the mess he was coming into. And some of us who are close to people or who know people, certain people, and believe in them, the best thing we could have done for them is to say, Chief, stay to your warband. Don't make the decision now. It's not going to play well for you. See what's happening? Illegal group go take decision to suspend people, withhold their salaries and their benefits. The Ministry of Finance has to implement that. And Gafan, it is being implemented under the gavel, under the authority of Gafan presiding as the Minister of Finance. When Gafan, in his wisdom, knows that, hey, what the guy's doing is wrong. What can he say? Like I told you yesterday, hey, all officials of all presidential appointees are sycophants to the president. They can't tell him no. That's what he wants. To avoid these things and save your professional reputation, you stay away from people from government jobs. But again, I don't know. Certain people can reach certain places. I'm already in my retirement age, so I don't get that for that thing they call repetition and integrity. But the group is illegal. Gafan is compelled to what? To implement decisions from people that we can teach. Imagine. They are instructing him to withhold the salaries and benefits of lawmakers when they do not even have the authority to do that. And Gafan is honoring that. This is the society we have. Well, I always say to you folks, literacy does not mean you go to school and sit in classroom and acquire formal education. There are people who go to school, acquire formal education, but they don't analyze, they don't rationalize. And they say, shoot, they shoot. I say, run, they run. I say, stop it, they stop it. I say, slap it, they slap me. Pushing, they pushing. That illiteracy. Because a man who went to school and acquire formal education is supposed to be literate enough. It means he is supposed to be able to analyze decision, analyze recommendation, analyze instruction, rationalize that instruction, and make sure that the implementation of that instruction falls within the parameters of the laws of our country. So tomorrow his action cannot be misjudged. So tomorrow his actions or inactions cannot be misjudged. Do we have lecture people? Do we have lecture people in public service? I don't see some. Because the people who acquire education, the scholars who went to school, they are scoring 3.8, 4 points. They are in public service. And they are not rationalizing their decisions. They are not rationalizing some of the decisions that they are implementing. That's not literacy. That's not literacy. Literacy is guidance. It is intended to provide guidance for your intellect. But we don't see it. We see a minister of justice misinterpreting a Supreme Court ruling. We see a minister of finance honoring an instruction from an illegal group, calling it a majority bloc to suspend and withhold the salaries and benefits of lawmakers when they do not even have the authority to do so. Listen to the disgrace that came from ECOWAS, and then we can take costs and give money out and give money out and take costs. Listen to the disgrace that came from ECOWAS to Liberia, folks. See this disgrace. Let's begin with this one. This is the biggest disgrace that ECOWAS will be telling us. ECOWAS members, parliamentarians will be telling, no, we can't do this, or this is wrong. We should not even be discussing this letter. Do you know what I mean? It means they trash your communication. We should not even be discussing this communication. Listen, this is embarrassing. But again, somebody who is not on the alert.
And next minute you start employing your own people. That should not be something we should even negotiate here. The other issue here is about moral. As Honorable Snow has mentioned, that there was a time when put a party in place, and next minute you start employing your own people. That should not be something we should even negotiate here. There was a time when it should happen. Some of them be based on moral. The others. Okay, so this first speaker is from Gambia. You know, they're French speaking country, so they're not too fluent with the English language. But just take your time and listen to him. Right? It's about moral. As Honorable Snow has mentioned, that there was a time when the issue happened, some of them based on morals, they resign. But the guy is not going to resign here. He is the current speaker. He should maintain to be the speaker. And you cannot be there. People who are elected. They are city MPs. They are current MPs. You say no, they should be out of ECOWAS Parliament. Based on what? Based on what? They lose their seats. And now you are bringing other MPs. Then you can have the right to say, we are not replacing. But you cannot command ECOWAS to say, those current sitting MPs should be out of the list of MPs. It's not correct. It's not fair. So if we are going back to negotiate, we're going to negotiate based on this, what the Constitution is saying. The Constitution is saying A, B, C, and D. We have to abide by the Constitution. If you violate the Constitution, then we are no more ECOWAS. If we can go by the Constitution, then we are no more ECOWAS. The Constitution is A, B, and C. That is an insult. They think we're waiting on the wall. My man, they're beating waiting on the wall in black and white. One Liberia, my man, they think they're beating, they think waiting on the wall in black and white. Then you asking me, your brain not functioning well, you know. You lack understanding or comprehension. The element telling us in Liberia. The Constitution that gives the party the right to be the MP up till now. Currently, they are NAMs here being elected by people and put here. And we are here because of the Constitution. So, Honorable Speaker, if you go back, let this now remain to be an MPs. And if the Speaker wants to continue to be the Speaker, he can be the Speaker. If you want to resign, based on him to resign on his moral stand. Thank you. Thank you very much. So this is the colleague from Gambia. Let's hear the colleague from Nigeria. At times, even when we read our country reports, a member may read a report that is not favorable to the country. And if members are not protected, they are liable to be recalled by the home country. That is one reason for which the Act clearly stipulates that once a member subscribes the oath
the home country hasn't got any right to recall
any
him.
right to recall him.
So I want to categorically state here that that very clause in the Supplementary Act of 2016 should not be circumvented, and the members of parliament from Liberia who have subscribed the oath of ECOWAS parliament should not be recalled by their home country. ECOWAS should be very distinct from the internal politics in
this is scheme. ECOWAS should be very distinct, meaning separate, not involved. ECOWAS should not be involved, should not get involved with the internal conflict, internal political conflict in Liberia. That's what this Nigerian parliament is saying. Because by ECOWAS honoring the decision from a purported speaker will be taking side. Do you know that the Ghanaian authority reached out and apologized diplomatically that they made a mistake? They were not privileged to details. Trust me, the Ghanaian celebrating their 68th anniversary independence. Y'all go over Richard Kun invitation. In Joe Parker said, "I'm getting invitation to go there." People say, "You mean Parker is there also?" We're not calling that our country.
My problem here is, at times, even when we read our country reports, a member may read a report that country. ECOWAS should be very distinct from the internal politics in our different home countries.
Sure.
We should not be seen as supporting the various governments in doing what they want to do, especially when it comes to representation in this very parliament.
Sure.
So I want to plead to our colleagues and the leadership of this house that these members of parliament from Liberia who have subscribed the oath of office should be retained, and no internal politics should influence the decision of this parliament. This parliament is an autonomous body, and the independence of this parliament should not be infringed into at any cost.
At any cost. The independence of the parliament should not be infringed into, should not be manipulated, should not be influenced by domestic political rebels. By domestic political rebels in Liberia. That's what's happening. We having domestic political rebels in Liberia who want to use their rebellious orientation to influence the decision of ECOWAS. And ECOWAS has to be on the alert. And I like the way they are on the alert. Because these political rebels are not backing down. They are not listening. They are even worse than killer beings. They're not listening. So ECOWAS will not sit there and allow these political rebels to influence their decision. What is happening here is a domestic political rebellion that has to be handled by Liberia. Liberia has all of the capacity, including the constitution and our statutory laws, to handle this matter, and Liberia must handle it. You finish handling your domestic matter, then you go and tell ECOWAS, you will call the people. Under whose authority? Under whose authority? ECOWAS got office in Liberia. ECOWAS in Liberia is following the political instability of Capitol Hill. ECOWAS in Liberia is aware. ECOWAS in Liberia has the recalling from Associate Justice Yamin Gbese, clearly interpreting what their decision meant. ECOWAS in Liberia is aware that the Supreme Court bench boycotted the State of the Nation address, and they justify why they boycotted because the presiding officer and the side that boycott went to address did not have constitutional legitimacy. So ECOWAS in Liberia is also aware of that. ECOWAS in Liberia is aware now. Today they are aware that the Supreme Court has summoned the so-called majority bloc and refer to the man who Baka want to sit on, or who Baka want to stand before to address the nation by delivering a State of the Nation address. ECOWAS is aware that the Supreme Court in Hosomo has recognized Fonati Kofa as a speaker and recognized Richard Kun as a purported self-declared. That's a rebellious behavior or attitude we're talking about. This element is a self-star speaker. He's a self-made speaker. He's a self-proclaimed speaker. He is proclaiming himself speaker. He is assuming unto himself the authority and title and position of the speakership, which does not belong to him, but the constitution and your statutory laws and rules. That's what the Supreme Court is saying, and that's what ECOWAS is relying on. And ECOWAS is going to build or form the foundation of a reliance on this latest summons from the Supreme Court. Imagine ECOWAS taking a decision to embrace the communication from the purported speaker, and then they come to see a summon from the court. But ECOWAS already had the order from the Associate Justice in Chima who presided over the case, giving the interpretation of the bench of the Supreme Court. Have you heard any member of the Supreme Court coming to distance his or herself or disassociate his or herself from the interpretation given by Justice Jami Gbese? No. In fact, that ruling from the Supreme Court, all the members of the Supreme Court signed that ruling. There was no dissenting opinion from the bench of the Supreme Court. It means all 5 members of the Supreme Court, including the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, signed the ruling. So they cannot come back and distance themselves or disassociate a member from the ruling. What do we do now? We will not go to school. Because you will go to school, you're spoiling it. You're just spoiling everything. So we will not go to school now. What do we do now? What are we going to tell our children? What are we going to tell our children? But again, folks, this is the country we have. Should we back down? Should we give up? No. Should we continue making sacrifices to ensure that you, the ordinary people, that you are elected about the happiness in our country? Yes, we will continue to do so. We can't back down. We know folks will hate us. And the only people who will hate us will be the people who are doing the wrong things. The oppressors will hate the informants. Because when they are oppressing you or taking oppressive actions, what it does is that it empowers them, it strengthens them, it elevates their authority in their supervision and their superiority over you. But when there is a body there like us, who will use our microphones and our skills and our talents and our investigative capacity to come here and expose their oppressive behavior, then they start to hate us and they start to influence their followers to also go after us. Should we give up? No. Can we give up? No. Have we given up? No. Will we give up? No. We can go to the telephone lines and pick calls, but before we do that, let's talk to if you, yeah, there are 3, one from Sierra Leone, one from Nigeria, and one from Gambia. So let's talk to the speaker just now is from Sierra Leone, the other speaker from Nigeria, they didn't play him. So folks, let's go to the telephone lines and pick calls on 0776 104 104 0886 500 104. But before we do that, I said to you we have $3,000 here we want to give out to 3 winners. But anyway, let's take calls. They already have the money on the phone. I only wanted to call them to confirm, that they received the money. So I'll just read the number. I'm not going to. We want to take more calls tonight on the show and then go home. Maybe 10 calls and go home. So 081 32 69 66 90. 081 82 57 06 and 0886 58 58 26. These 3 numbers, you check your phones. You guys have received $1,000 each from us tonight. God's help. Go ahead. Let's hear you.
Thank you for the time. Also, let me say commitment to you and putting to all peace, loving like grace while in tune this evening. When I listened to the news this morning, I learned that the Supreme Court had opted to delve into the bit of information filed by the minority that the rule of law caucus was related for the fact that we are at a crossroads in our national life and giving people authority to use against us in the negative faction does not help to move this country in a way.
Okay.
Look at just look at the response from our leaders.
Hold the line. I'll soon take you. Just hold the line. Just stay on the line.
And a negative signal to other bodies. And Liberia is in the spotlight for the wrong reason.
For the wrong reason. Thank you. God's help. Next person, go ahead.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening to you.
Yeah, my name is Nagara. Thank you for the question. And the issue speaking about the hospital issue. During the by-election, during the runner election, at the Cali Hospital, I can recall Henry Kosa brother went to the hospital to carry his son. The nurses in the hospital can say, oh, and Henry Kosa brother, they want him to stay. I said, wow, of course Henry Kosa supported in the runner. I just saying, so I mean, that's normal.
Sure. We all have to be on the alert as well and very careful when we take our relatives to the hospital. Thank you, my brother. Let's talk to somebody else. Next person, go ahead. Hello?
Yes, AB.
Good evening to you. This is not AB. This is Austin Kawa. Hello? The other guy listening to the show in the morning. The other guy called, he say, hello, Austin, how are you doing? Abu say, this is not Austin, this is Abu Chevy. So when I'm in the there, so many can call AB, this is not AB, this is Austin. So we're struggling, there been transition and shifts and shifts, in the different platforms and the different time. So I know AB on us I do call in and says, no, there's not AB, this is not us, this is AB. But that's why it is. Some people can hear me listening and say, well, when they build, I must say that Austin want to show in the morning, Austin. So now they can be mistake anyway, So it takes time to get used to the changes. But let's hear this person. Hello? Good evening to you.
Hello?
Hello, you're live. Let's hear you. It's good that Windia is here. I think you have to talk to the people to check this phone, especially the new the Upbeat on the All Best or your best phone. Yeah, I think there's a problem with I don't know, speaker issue or stuff. It's always giving problem when we're taking costs. So and this is the I don't know. So let's see what we can take about 5 more calls on 0776 104 104 0886 500 104. Those are the 2 major numbers to call and be a part of the show. For those of you in the diaspora, okay, but yeah, the phone is on. Those of you saying that the WhatsApp is not on, the WhatsApp is on. Yes, the WhatsApp is on. So let's hear this person. Good evening to you. Let's hear you. Let's hear you. Is your issue is personal?
No,
Okay, go ahead quickly. But who is this? Grenke Bang.
Yeah.
Oh, Senje. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I going to school. Someone was sponsoring me, and then the party.
Yeah, but how I will get to the one on the radio, you gotta get my number and call me or beg you. You gotta get my number, call you, call me, then we talk. We've been talking now, and then we get another issue. Maybe somebody can come here and help you. So please get my number and call me. When you call me, we'll talk on the weekend. Then next week we'll come here and announce that you need help. Blah, blah, blah. If people are waiting to help, they will help with their meager resources. Okay, let's talk to the next person. Go ahead. Good evening to you.
Thank you very much for the show. Our country will come out here, we are Liberians. We have educated people in the country, but we don't have nobody is educated in the country. We do get I know we have our go battle or what battle. I know 50 years experience. We put in power, he can do nothing. He does nothing in the whole country or nothing in the country or we don't understand nothing. They say they were educated, they come in making change. We are not educated. We are in the country, especially when he's going, I want to say, he's going in the country. who can bring witchcraft, you can put in there, just bet in the country or the other name for Bonkan, the representative for number 2, Colette. So, hungry men, very hungry. And my all of them, so on the country, that's in our country all.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you. Let's talk to somebody else. Let's hear you. Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Loxton G. Peter. I do join you from Jacobtown, Bria.
Jacobtown, go ahead.
Well, let me commend you for the level of work that you have been doing, and we appreciate.
Oh, man, Loxton, somebody push you off the line. So sorry. Let me see what I can take the last 3 calls from this other line, and then we can call it a day here tonight. So our traditional song we say will be playing on the radio. Let me find it. Okay, I try to find it. Let me take this person from here. Still, I was saying, the call's just dropping. I don't know whether it's network or they're falling from the other side. Okay, I think he will handle it when he comes. Are the most experienced? I don't know, most experienced man here. 10 minutes off. Hello?
Yeah, don't forget to announce your number.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it has to be. I can't announce my numbers on the show now. Yeah. So, okay. Why? That's not where I announce my board number on the show. The calls they may receive, eh? They say, manager. That's more good. Yeah, man. So I think we have to go, man. It's already 4 minutes after 10 o'clock. But there are demands for this song, so we're going to put this song in our folder, and we will be leaving you with this song. The original song, the actual song is not out yet, but this is just a teaser that we have to keep playing for you all, since the song is so interesting. So listen to this one. This one will carry us home.
We can take the new press. Yes, the new press. We can take the new press. Give us 7 now, take it big. It's stepping yours every day. We not talk every day, but say you won't killing us every day. Now who come and save us now? Parashon killing us every day. Taking everybody says that's the front. They say they want new press, we get them the new press, They say they want new press, we get them the new press, Plenty people name for party, one man taking for the package. Don't stand, no rules in place, no corruption in our place. Hunger killing us, hunger killing us, hunger killing us. We get the new press, Plenty people name for party, one man taking for the package. Don't stand, no rules in place, no corruption in our place. Hunger killing us, hunger killing us, hunger killing us.
Okay. Yes, that's it. Thanks to all of you for following the show tonight. We are taking our weekend's break, but like we said, at times there can be some critical issues that we do not want to pass us. So they will push us here some Fridays to work, but normally we take our break on Thursday. So we see you on Monday by God's grace.
We tired with the promises that led us to a lot of damages. We tired with that speech they preach indeed, and now you need to deceive us. The thing we thought it frustrates us. So why pursue life Why bet you steal? Why bet you a lot? Get a piece don't be. See, we just tell you. Now why we go tell you.